All right, so we will start an easy pose, seated cross-legged, or maybe even with our legs long if we feel like that's where we need to be today. And soften the eyes. Roll the shoulders back and down away from the ear. Slightly tucking your shoulder blades under, lifting with your sternum. Little tuck of the chin to lengthen the back of the neck. And then soften the brow, the eyelids, the temple, and the jaw. And then sending your breath to areas of tension. So maybe it's the jaw, maybe it's the shoulder. Or if you find being seated, maybe it's even the lower back. Get a little taller out of the tailbone up to your crown. Hug the elbows into your ribs. Feel that space naturally created across the collarbone. And now start to breathe into that heart space of Anahata. And taking these next couple of breaths to set your own intention. Instead of me offering something today, just see what comes to the surface. And change that into your own dialogue. Maybe using I can statements or I am. Noticing where your hands landed, maybe face down for grounding, maybe face up for receiving. And on your next breath, take your hands to any mudra that you're being drawn to. So maybe it's just hands at the heart, or hand on the heart, or any other mudra that you are familiar with in your practice. And use that too as a moment to ground and set intention. And we'll bring our hands back on top of our knees and our thighs. We'll slowly open the eyes. Find a focal point in front of you, your drishti. Follow that focal point all the way up to the sky. Tilt your head back. Feel the openness through the front of your larynx. And as if you're drawing a line with that focal point, we're going to bring it back to where we started, looking at center. This time tucking our chin. Let's do that one more time, following that line up. Imagining it in front of us, looking up to the sky, tilting the head back, dropping the shoulders, maybe opening the mouth and softening the jaw. And then slowly bringing our head back, tucking our chin. And exaggerating here in the spine by hollowing out. Think of your seated cat pose. And lifting your head back above your heart, find a seated cow pose now, arching in your back. A little tilt of the head, but not as much as we just did. And we'll do one more together. We'll round the spine, tuck our chin. Keep the knees and the thighs grounded. Lifting back up through to cow pose. Squeezing the shoulders blades, arching in the back. And then move through that a couple times on your own. Try to keep that same cadence with your breath, that same movement, that same pace. Good morning. And then if you had set an intention, every time you lift your heart back into your cow pose, maybe pause for a moment and state that intention. And then rounding your spine, exhale it out as if it's already been rooted and planted. And then coming back to neutral spine, and then come back to that mudra that you set. Maybe it was a hand to the heart, or maybe it was our chin mudra with our fingertips touching. Close the eyes again and just find some stillness. And let's have a beautiful practice today. We'll come into our tabletop. And then from our table, we'll float right into our down dog. And then from your down dog, maybe it's having play. Maybe it's finding your foundation first. We'll stay here for 3 more breaths, whether it's movement, whether it's holding. Find your way into Balasana, your child's pose. You bring your knees wide, your toes together, your arms nice and long still. Taking a moment to surrender to this pose, to find your breath again. As we just had a little taste of maybe our strength and maybe even a little taste of just our power coming to our mat. Know that you can come back here anytime. And I know I say that as a broken record each week, each practice, but please give yourself that permission to rest. Start to tent through your hands, press through your finger pads, lift your palms around your spine as you roll up to table. Plant your palms as you roll up, tuck your toes and float the hips back into your down dog. We won't hold as long, maybe finding movement for 3 breaths. Checking in with your form, your shoulders rolling back and down, your elbow creases nearing each other. And active through your thumb and your index finger. Julia, that looks great. Your form there, beautiful. Come forward into your tabletop. Step your left foot between your hands. Hug your navel to your spine. Lift yourself up to your first modified lunge, maybe pressing up on that front thigh. Untucking the toes of the back leg. And then taking any expression, maybe arms extending. Checking in that your front knee stacks over your ankle. Soften your shoulders. Exhale your hands down. Step up to the top of your mat. Find your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Hang out in your rag doll. Maybe grab opposite elbow, swaying from side to side. Relax your head, bring your chin a little closer to your chest. Take a big sigh. Step back with your left foot. Lower it down into your modified lunge. Navel to your spine. Lift yourself back into that modified lunge on the other side. Lift out of your sit bones, lift out of your tailbone, to your shoulders. Soften the shoulders back. Soften the jaw, and then check in that your back hip might need to press a little bit more forward. Take one more breath, get tall through the spine. Exhale the hands down, step up to the top of your mat again, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward. Bend into your knees, round your spine as we come all the way up to stand. As you naturally want to scoop those arms overhead, I want you to grab a hold of opposite elbow and take a little sway from side to side to open up the side of the body. Keeping our hips squared to the top of our mat, keeping our knees stacked over our ankles. Being that equal yogi that you are, one more on each side. As we come to center, swan dive back forward over your legs. Yeah, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step yourself back into your plank. If you're not ready for plank, then table is a great option. Stacking your hands underneath your shoulders, holding for 2, holding for 1. From the knees or the toes, Chaturanga Dandasana. Beautiful form. Baby cobra as you lift the heart. And then press back to your child's pose. Nice form, Julia. Awesome. So the forehead doesn't make the connection in child's pose. Stack your fists. Maybe give a little massage. This time, instead of tenting the hands, pull the mat towards you, active in your palms. Find space in your shoulders, as if you're going to slightly lift out of the hips as well. And then melt right back down into the hips. Now you can tent the hands around your spine, roll up. Find your tabletop again. Tuck your toes, float your knees, finding some strength. So the palms are fully rooted this time. Holding for 2. Nice, holding for 1, press it back into your down dog. Come into maybe some counter movements or pedaling again. Float forward into your plank. Lower the knees into your table. Stepping your right foot between your hands this time. Navel to spine, lifting yourself up to your crescent, modified lunge. If the mind has wandered, come back to your focus this time right above the navel at your Manipura, your solar plexus. Keep the knees stacked, look taller out of your hips to your shoulders. If there's any pinching in that back knee, make that adjustment again. Exhale your hands down, step up to the top of your mat. We're playing with this transition today, stepping forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Our right foot's gonna step back, lower your knee, finding your modified lunge again. Lifting yourself up. Finding your navel in, shoulders down. Focusing at that solar plexus, pressing your back hip forward, maybe growing out of the hips again. Exhale your hands down, step up to the top of your mat, find your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, big sigh. Tucking your chin, exaggerate as you tuck it. Round your spine as you roll all the way up. Inhale, arms up. Grab a hold of that opposite elbow. This time we're going to do a half semicircle. So we're going to reach as if we're going to come to a forward fold. Lift to one side, look over to our elbow, and then scoop to the other side. Keeping the core nice and strong. Keeping the knees stacked. And then see as you move from side to side, if you can start to lift more with the heart as well. Maybe adding a gentle back bend as you lift, only if it feels okay for your spine. And coming back to center, take the arms nice and wide, swan dive forward. Inhale, lengthening. And exhale, fold. Grabbing opposite elbow again, swaying from side to side in your right dog. Grounding with your feet and grounding with your intention. Exhale, hands down to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Look forward, press your hands into your shins. Exhale, fold. Find your way back into plank or table. You're gonna move through your vinyasa on your own. Try to keep it gentle. It's only your second one. Taking as much time as you need. And then meeting either back in down dog or child's pose. Still take as much time. Decide where you need to land right now to rest. We'll all meet back in down dog. And we'll float the left foot between our hands. So inhale, float back, left leg, and then step it forward between our hands. This time the knee will stay lifted. We'll take our arms out to the side into a runner's lunge, lifting through your knee, lifting through your back heel, leaning forward with the heart, pressing your back hip forward so that your heel is pressing into the back edge of your mat. Stack your front knee over your ankle. Exhale your hands down. Step back into your plank, finding your vinyasa, chaturanga dandasana from the knees or the toes. Lower first to the earth, then lift to baby cobra. Press back down dog. So I'm moving in a little bit quicker, but if I'm going too quick for you, keep the pace that works for your body. Root through your palms, lift your right leg up, step it between the hands. Keep the back knee lifted, press your hip forward, root that back heel, the heel is lifted, root it to the back edge of your mat, take your arms out, finding that airplane with the arms, hugging your core in, stacking that knee over your top ankle, checking to see that your knee is bent. Soften the jaw. Exhale, hands down. Step back into your plank. Hold your plank for 2, for 1, and then find your chaturanga. Maybe it's a full cobra, only if the lower back is ready for it. Don't force it. And find your rest of child's pose or down dog. We'll take 5 breaths. Okay, we're gonna play with that flow. Take 1 more breath. Knee back in Adho Mukha Konasana, down dog. And then we'll float the left leg up again. Find your 3-legged dog, press your heel to the back of your mat. Step that foot through. Keep the back knee lifted. Using your core, lifting out of the hips, take your arms out to the side, yes. Lean with the heart forward, shoulders back, palms face the ground. Exhale the hands down. Step back into plank. Instead of moving through vinyasa, you're gonna press into down dog and just switch legs. So it should be our right leg lifts. Press the heel to the back of your mat, find your 3-legged dog. Sweep that foot through or step it through. Maybe you have to plant it down first and then pick it up. Take your arms out to airplane, core on, shoulders back. Take a couple breaths. Maybe the breath is shifted to exhaling through the mouth. Exhale, hands down. 1 more time, step back into your plank. Holding your plank. Press back into your down dog. Let's do that 1 more time, just the same way. Left foot lifts. Step it forward between our hands. Press your back heel, lift out of it, take your arms out. This time, scoop your arms forward, reach them overhead, and bring them to the side. 1 more time like that, bring them forward, and then out to the side. Exhale, hands down. Step back into your plank. Move through a vinyasa from the knees or toes. Leaning back in your down dog. Right leg lifts. Step it forward. Finding your runner's lunge. Press your back heel. Take the arms up to the side. Strong through your core. Protect it. Inhale, arms forward. Exhale. Inhale, arms forward. Exhale to the side. And then bring the hands down to frame your foot. But this time, pivot on your back foot. We're going to set up for a wide forward fold. Yes. Drop the head down. Take your toes, angle them out. Stack your knees over top of your ankles. Hang out here for a few breaths. Press through your heels. Lengthen through the hamstrings. Enjoy this inversion. Maybe even just allowing the head to drop down. Playing around with bringing your chest towards your thighs. Maybe stacking hands under shoulders or walking them to the back of your mat. You know how I love to have play on our mat and change directions? So we're gonna walk our hands over towards that left foot, pivot the left set of toes, pivot on the back foot. You're setting up for your full lunge now. So back heel is lifted, bend into that knee, use your core to lift yourself up to full crescent lunge. So arms are up, right hip presses forward, right heel lifts if you can, unless you need to take a warrior B stance. Front knee bent. Yeah, listen to your body. I love that some of us have taken that option of our warrior B or even a warrior A. Can you sink a little lower into the hips? Sweep your right arm back as we change to the other direction. So pivot on your feet, come up onto the balls of feet for a little bit of play. Right foot is now forward. Option for the back heel to be lifted into that full crescent, or back foot to be down, still hips are going to be forward. Nice adjustments, shoulders back. Bring a smile to your face. Sink a little lower into your hips. Scooping your left arm back, we're coming right into that forward fold again. As you scoop that arm back, pivot, face along edge of your mat, forward fold. For some of us, it might feel good to interlace our hands at the low back and then float the hands off, or maybe bring our hands to our block. And dropping that head down, maybe rocking it a little no from side to side. Walk your hands over towards the left leg and frame that leg, bringing your chest towards your shin. You can still keep your toes pointed and your heels down in that forward fold. So Mark, bring your toes back to face, actually Mark and back, yeah, bring your toes back to face the long edge, and just keep your hands there framing that leg so your chest is over your thigh. Yes. And then we're gonna just do the other side. So walk to the other side, do the same. Toes are still pointing the same direction to the long edge of your mat, melting over that leg. Then even it out, come back to center. Inhale, halfway lift, come up onto the finger pads, look forward. Exhale, fold. Pivot the right set of toes to face forward. Pivot on that back foot, lower the knee down. And then heel toe your front foot nice and wide. We're setting up for lizard lunge. Bring the hands to the inside of your front foot. Maybe bring hands to blocks or forearms to your blocks. Untuck the toes, that back leg. And then root through your front foot. So if the toes want to lift off, maybe press through your big toe. Hug your knee to the back of your tricep. And if you've moved down to your forearms, ask yourself if there's any stress in the shoulders. What can you adjust? Maybe it's even just adjusting our grip. We'll keep the left hand down, reach your right arm up to the sky, opening through the heart. If you know it's safe for your ankle, you could even roll to the edge of the foot if it feels good, or use the hand to guide that knee, but still opening through your sternum. Exhale your hand down, exhale your foot down. Bring yourself into your down dog as you scoop the leg back, downward facing dog. Maybe it's movement, maybe it's stillness, maybe it's just connecting back with the breath again, or all of the above. However you need to get there, we're going to bring the left foot forward now, whether it's from table or down dog. Is it left foot? Yeah, left foot forward. Back knee is going to be down. Heel toe that front leg off of your mat, nice and wide. Hands to the inside of your foot as we set up on the other side. A little check-in of pressing your back hip forward if you need it. Asking yourself if your shoulders are lining up with the top corners of your mat. And deciding again where you're going to land here on forearms, on blocks, or hands nice and long into the mat. Remember your blocks. If you need to use them in different heights, adjust the blocks. If you are dipping down with your back hip and it feels like you're sending it all the way down to the ground, I want you to lift your hips up and then readjust, sending your back hip forward. Hugging your front knee in. Use your breath to get through this challenging part of our sequence. And then we'll keep the right forearm down or hand down this time. Reach your left arm up, open through the heart. Rolling your shoulder back, looking up to your fingertips or to that edge of the mat. And your choice if you're rolling onto the edge of the foot or pressing that knee away to open. A couple more breaths. And then exhaling that hand down. Bringing yourself back into your down dog or child's pose. And then take these next few breaths to move through your sun salutation A a few times on your own, or take as much rest as you need. And as you move to that sun A, take your time to come up to the top of your mat and slowly come to stand or move through a half sun A right on your mat. Just take these next few breaths for yourself, trusting that you know this practice. And make it count. Nobody's watching, nobody's judging. And we'll all find our way back in down dog. Take your time though if you're still moving through your vinyasa. And today we've been leading a lot with our left side, but we're gonna meet back in our down dog and lead with our right side this time. So from our down dog or table if you need, stepping our right foot forward again into our lunge, lowering our back knee down. So think of that modified lunge again. You're gonna move your block to the outside of your right hip. So it's there. And yep. And then we'll take our back foot. I'm gonna pick it up and bring it over to the right as well. So we're kickstanding it off. We're gonna lift ourselves up with our heart, with our chest. Bring our left hand behind our head, and then the right hand is gonna move to that block. Maybe bring it a little further back, lifting with your sternum, arching in the spine. Or the other option, remove the block, tuck your toes, bring your hand to your heel instead, or your lower back. You might start to roll out of this, but press your left hip forward. A bit more of a heart opener than what we've taken in our lunges. Two more breaths. The hand that's behind the head, allow it to guide you back first. Bring your hands down to frame your foot, pivot that back foot, tuck the toes of the back leg. As you lift the knee, step the foot into pyramid pose. So the foot's gonna come down on a 45 angle and our left leg is gonna be long. Melting the head and the heart towards your front leg. Pressing your back hip forward. So the same stance that we use in our warrior A. Nice, Julia, nice adjustments there. As you look forward, bend into your front knee, step to the top of your mat. We're setting up for chair pose, Uttanasana. Maybe heel toe your feet, sit your bum back, lift the arms. As you reach into your version of chair, I like to have my feet hip width distance. I know some people like to have them side by side, still knees forward, toes forward if we can, unless you're finding stress in the lower back. Sitting a little lower in our chair. Lift all the way up to stand. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward. Step yourself back into your plank. Finding your Chaturanga Dandasana. Lifting maybe to that full cobra, shoulders back and down, hips forward. Press back to your down dog. Step your left foot between your hands. Move your block to the outside of your left hip, so right knee is down this time. Pick up that back foot and bring it over to the long edge of your mat. So right foot comes over to that left edge, using your core to lift you up. Try to keep your hips squared first. Right hand behind the head. Left hand's gonna come to that block or tucking the toes and coming to the heel. Lifting with sternum again as you lean back. Opening up through the front of the body. If your right hip starts to open to the side of your mat, that's okay, but try to send it a little bit back. Lift out of the thoracic spine, that upper back. Two more breaths. Hand behind the head leads as it brings you back. Bring your right foot back as you kickstand it. Or come out of your kickstand and tuck your toes. And then step into your pyramid. And then lengthen your front leg, right hip presses forward. Evening out your hips. Start to bend into your front knee, step up to the top of your mat. You know what's coming. One more chair pose, Uttanasana. Feet can be hip width distance. Sit low, navel in, tuck that pelvis, take your arms out. Your knees are going so far forward. Make sure that they're tracking over your ankles. You're pressing through your heels. One more breath. Come all the way up to stand. Big inhale. And exhale. I want to hear it into your swan dive. Yeah. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step back into plank. Find your chaturanga dandasana as you stack your shoulders over your wrists. Nice. Plant down first. Lift through the heart. Gliding back, down dog. Surya Namaskar B. Lifting your left leg up. Left foot steps between the hands. Back foot steps in for warrior 8. This time we're just lifting all the way up. So use your core, lift yourself up to Virabhadrasana A. So it should be our left foot forward, knee stacks over ankle, or whatever leg you chose, it doesn't matter. Squaring your shoulders, squaring your hips. Exhale your hands down. Step yourself back into your plank. We're only moving through sun salutation V once. Move through your vinyasa, unless you rather meet a down dog. Find your chaturanga, lifting to your cobra, and gliding back to your down dog. Lifting your right leg up, right foot forward. Step your back left foot in to warrior A. Using your core to lift up. Soften your shoulders. Stacking that front knee, pressing your back hip. Without having to adjust the knee, think about it still opening though to the side. So it's active through that inner thigh to outer glute. Be proud, lift with your heart. Exhale, hands down. Last vinyasa of the practice, so make it count, make it your own. Chaturanga, and we're meeting in down dog after this. Just taking your time. This next asana is your choice as long as it's a hip opener. So you can either, we're going to start on the left side, you can either come into your pigeon pose by lifting the left leg and scooping it through. You could step the left foot through and set up for cow face, or you could come onto your spine and do a figure 4 or a reclined version of cow face, as long as we're all on the left side. So if you're doing your pigeon, scooping that left knee through to your wrist, heel above your groin, pressing your hip forward, and then melting the heart forward. We all chose that pose today. Okay. You were thinking when I said, oh, it's your choice, your option. You thought I was going to say Shavasana, right? That is always, always welcome if that's what you need. I've done that myself, actually gone to a class and laid in Shavasana for the whole thing, and it was lovely. And we'll stay for one more breath. Either moving back up into a table or into a down dog. And then let's find our way onto the other side. So floating our right leg and bringing it through, knee to the inside of our wrist or flipping onto our spine if we need. And then walking ourselves down onto forearms or blocks. Maybe to start, press your left hip forward. Press your sit bones back like there's a magnet on them to the short edge of your mat. And then see if you can arrive in the pose. Taking one more breath. Walking your hands back under, tucking the toes, that back leg, and either coming into three-legged dog, or if you feel like you need to press up and back into table and shake it out. And however you like to get there, we're going to meet on our spine. So maybe it's coming forward into table and then coming down to your spine. Maybe it's moving through one more vinyasa, even though I said that was your last one earlier. Then we'll come to our back when you're ready. And then we'll set up with our left knee into our chest for our supine twist. Drawing it across the body as we open up through the shoulder. Checking in that our hips are stacked. Looking away from our bent knee. And allowing this to be a bit more restorative if we can. Start by bringing your head back first, and then maybe scoop the knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. And then we'll hug the right knee in and find that supine twist or any other posture that you took on the other side. And again, naturally, if you're in that twist, allow the head, the gaze to come away. Bringing your head back to center first, and then the knee. And maybe it's a windshield wiper or a hug. And find your way into Shavasana. Be proud of your work today. Whatever the intention was that you set at the beginning of our practice today, come back to it or notice if it's changed at all. Start with little movements, fingers and toes. Being mindful of the lower back, maybe start to bring feet into the mat to allow you to roll to one side. Of course, if you're enjoying this practice from home and you wish to stay on your mat, feel free to stay there. Otherwise, we'll slowly come up to seated, pressing the top hand into the mat. And bringing your hand to your heart. Taking an inhale and exhale out. Palms to heart center. Bringing thumbs to third eye for intuition. To our mouth for speaking our truth. Back to the heart, Anahata, for kindness. Thank you all for being here and for being a part of the Anahata community. I hope you have a great start to your day. Namaste.